Are Germany and Austria threatening to leave Eurovision? Loads of confusion right now about this. I'm going to clear up the situation for you. We also have the 18 artists announced for Benidorm Fest 2026, plus tons of national final news, including some rumoured artists from UMK and Melfest. We need a Eurovision 2026 news update. Let's kiki. Hi, my name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst, and you can find all this stuff on my Eurovision channel. Okay, so lots of Eurovision news for you this week. Before we start, big shout out to my patrons who keep the channel going in the off season. I recently put up my review of Eurovision 1983. I finished reviewing Eurovision 1962, so that's going to go up early on my Patreon with the original audio very soon. Go check that out if you need your Eurovision fix in the off season. Okay, so the first couple of news stories are about the situation with Germany and Austria in regards to, are they going to participate in Eurovision? Because there's been so much disinformation going around the internet. I'm going to try and clear it up for you the best that I can. First of all, we have a story here that German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said that he would support a German boycott of the Eurovision Song Contest if Israel happened to be excluded. So yes, this is someone in a position of power in Germany, but this is not the broadcaster. I think my main thing that I want to get across to people is, unless the statement comes from the broadcaster, which in this case for Germany is ARD, who in my last news episode did have a statement. They said, we're going to wait and see what happens. This is not someone from ARD. He is someone in a position of power, but he doesn't make policy. He can potentially try and influence it if he has that type of power, but he is not the director of ARD. ARD is a conglomeration of all the different German broadcasters. They're going to make the decision on how they vote in the vote in November. So this is him just giving an opinion piece. This is not Germany saying, we're going to withdraw if the vote goes such way. We also had a similar story coming out of Austria. Here we have an article talking about the OVP leadership who want ORF, which is the Austrian broadcaster, to not host the song contest in the event of a boycott against Israel, which would cause them to have a fine. This is not someone in ORF making a statement. This is a member of OVP, the Austrian People's Party, Christian Stocker, and his state secretary, Alexander Proll. They're working behind the scenes to pressure the ORF to vote a certain way in the vote. But they don't have the power. ORF makes the decision, the board of directors. This is the whole point about having a free press, is that the government and the broadcasters are separate entities. That means that the broadcaster can criticize it, which is not happening in many other countries around the world. So people like Christian Stocker could try and influence the results. There were loads of things going around Twitter and on Instagram and all the kind of like tabloid Eurovision news channels saying Austria is threatening to withdraw if the vote goes through. No, this is one person saying this is what he wants to happen. We've had no statement from ORF, who are the official people who make a decision. And like this article mentions, there will be fines if they withdraw at this period. I don't know if that number 40 million is correct. It sounds plausible to me because the EBU obviously want to put safety measures in so that someone doesn't withdraw last minute. It would make sense they'd have a contract that says if you do withdraw super late, you're going to be fined, because then they could use that 40 million to pay for the contest to be held somewhere else. So yeah, that totally makes sense to me. Obviously, I don't know what's in that contract between the EBU and ORF in terms of hosting. So here the article says if ORF backs out, it would have to pay the new host city up to 40 million. ORF is said to have signalled to the government that then they would have to cover the fine, which would amount up to 26 million euros. So like, this is politicians just talking BS. At the end of the day, they're not going to fork out 26 to 40 million to cover the cost of moving the contest somewhere else. They're just grandstanding. But theoretically, if Austria did withdraw from hosting, because Israel were banned, that would suggest that Estonia would be the next host because they came in third place. Austria's pulled out. Israel's been disqualified. Estonia's next. So we're going to Tallinn. Tommy Cash is going to host with a 40 million euro contest in Tallinn. That's what we're being threatened with. Sounds like a good time to me. So I think my key takeaway from all this is there's so much tabloid style news that's unsourced, unverified, not specific in the details. Unless it comes from the broadcaster specifically, take it with a gigantic pinch of salt, like really, really big pinch, like a salt line. Okay, and we had a response to this from Lubach, which I believe is a Dutch, like, late night talk show. Looks a little bit like Jimmy Kimmel's setup. And they did a little bit of a skit about this whole situation with Germany. I'm just going to show you stills so that I don't get copyrighted. The Netherlands want to boycott Israel, but if Israel is banned from the Eurovision Song Contest, I still want to be able to beat Germany. There's a bit of a rivalry going on between Germany and the Netherlands. And talking to Germany won't work because Merz is not open to discussion. So we have to come up with something else. I'd say, let's challenge Germany to a duel. You can go check this out. It's on their Instagram page. I'm not going to play because there might be copyright on it, but it's a real, like, bassy voice over-the-top WWE style ad for this duel. Germany, we have a problem. We are saying we do not want Israel to attend the Eurovision Song Contest as they commit war crimes in Gaza. You are saying Israel is part of it. That means we cannot both participate at Eurovision. That's just not possible. That's why we challenge you to a one-on-one song contest duel. Germany against the Netherlands. Who do you think's going to win? Your song against ours. The stakes, the loser has to change their stance. If you win, we will permit Israel to participate. If we win, you will stay and say we will support the boycott against Israel. And the greatest part is you can't possibly lose. Your participants are always so talented. And here he's making fun of how he says rock stars. I think Malik came last, didn't he? Malik Harris? Or this banger, which I actually quite liked. I actually like Lord of the Lost. I felt he was a little bit robbed by the jury. But yeah, it also came last. And they're saying goosebumps all over. Not interested? We could raise the stakes a little. If you wager the Ruhr Arena, the Ruhr area, we will wager our eldest princess. I don't get this. This is a Dutch royalty joke. It's just gone over my head. You will win easily. Look how good you are, guys. Oh, Jendrik. What was that Jendrik entry in 21? That was in the Netherlands as well. The great one-on-one song contest between Germany and the Netherlands. United by music, divided by genocide. Okay, so the Netherlands is having a little bit of a fun take on it, but just kind of showing this divide that exists. For those of you who are wondering, why are Germany and Austria going so heavy on their pro-Israel stuff? So we question here, can Germans or Austrians explain to me why their politicians are losing their mind? And Zwölfbung Lukas, who is a German Eurovision fan, shout out to Lukas, says, in Germany we have a so-called Staatsräson. A large majority of our politicians and parts of the German society see it as a historic responsibility, probably due to the Holocaust, to back Israel. So there's this like generational guilt that exists. That's why Germany and Austria are kind of turning a blind eye to this genocide, because there is this historical guilt. Okay, and the final part of the Israel saga, let's go to an explosive open letter from RUV chairman Stefan Jon Hafstein. He said Israel should be removed from the contest immediately. So let's go to this letter that he wrote in Visir. This is translated from Icelandic, so some of the English is a tiny bit off. Let's check out this third paragraph though, because it's a little bit more pertinent to the EBU and Eurovision in particular. There are many precedents for temporarily suspending countries from the contest, the most recent being in the wake of Russia's attack on Ukraine, when the EBU specifically referred to Russia, not its broadcaster. So it wasn't a contest of broadcasters then, it is now, having caused a crisis in Ukraine, which is now, putting it mildly, and damaged the reputation of the contest, which is exactly what the Israeli government has also done and continues to do. The EBU board has completely failed to be consistent with itself and is guilty of double standards, which is a polite way of putting it about the nonsense that has been brought up to justify Israel's participation and not Russia's. No one would think of comparing the different grounds, I think this is a slightly off translation, of the campaigns in Ukraine and Gaza, but that makes no difference to the victims in each place and their immeasurable suffering. Netanyahu and Putin are complicit in this, as both are wanted war criminals. Keep in mind that Netanyahu is wanted by the International Criminal Courts for war crimes. And this fourth point is interesting as well. The Israeli government has used the European Games, I think he's talking about Eurovision, as a propaganda machine for itself, spending a lot of money in many countries to influence the results. As incredible as it may sound, the competition organisers have faked audio broadcasts from it to drown out the voices of discontent among the audience against Israel's participation. There's nothing apolitical about holding a game with representatives of a state that commits mass murder and uses a singing competition to buy its legitimacy. So really attacking the EBU head on for the decisions that they've made. And then finally, in the sixth point, he kind of makes a call out to the other Nordic broadcasters who've been relatively silent so far. They weren't silent about Russia, Sweden, Norway, Finland, all coming out within 2 days to say that they want Russia kicked out, but not doing the same in this situation. So Stefan here is saying it is high time that all Nordic broadcasters said this far and no further. I would therefore like to encourage Nordic broadcasters to unite around the values that the President of Finland described so well in his speech at the UN General Assembly the other day. So really powerful letter from Stefan, and we have a follow-up article here from RUV itself, which says Nordic broadcasters are planning to meet in Reykjavik in the coming days to discuss the issue. At that meeting, a representative from the EBU will be present to assess the views of participating countries on the matter. So it seems like the Nordic broadcasters are coming together to kind of come up with a consensus statement now. So in case you don't know, Scandinavia comprises Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, but Nordic is also Iceland and Finland. So kind of all the countries that have a cross in their flag, basically. So yes, interesting. Are they going to come together and kind of make a group decision? Or could the consensus at the end of that meeting be, Well, some of us are going to do one way and some of us are going to go the others, or are all five going to try and be unified? We had a statement from DR in my last episode implying that they were either going to vote for Israel to stay or abstain. So it'll be interesting to see how Denmark are feeling after having that meeting in Reykjavik, eating some delicious skyr yogurt under the Aurora Borealis. Will they be swayed? Okay, let's move on to a different topic now, and we know the 18 artists who will be competing in Benidorm Fest 2026, Spain's national final. That's going to happen regardless of whether they're in Eurovision or not. Let's have a look at these 18. First of all, we have Asha. Obviously we have no information now, but we can make a little bit of a guess based on their background and some of the images as well. She's giving a really cool 60s vibe here. So I wonder if she's going to be going for a kind of smooth, maybe Sabrina Carpenter type of sound, perhaps. I'm guessing. We've got very little info to work off of. We then have Atyat. This isn't translating for some reason. She's grown up on the stage with a fusion of a powerful vocal and expressing of movement. So maybe we're going to get a little bit of a dance bop here. We're going to be getting the emotion of pop with soul. She's giving a little bit of Shakira vibes, isn't she? Okay, next we have Danny J, a versatile and innovative artist who's going to be bringing bachata, flamenco, and a transgenerational revolution. So that's really interesting. It looks like he might, I don't know if he looks really like J.K. Bello. Don't think he's going to be giving us like full boy bop. Again, not really any comments about him. Then we have Dora and Marlon Collins, who I believe are a couple. They present a artistic union with a fresh vision of contemporary pop. So that could be interesting, actually. I wonder if they're going to be doing maybe a romantic ballad. Fun Ambulista. It's the mutual project of Diego Cantero, who has managed to establish a style that combines emotion with a deep personal lyrical depth. Sounds like we're getting a boy ballad. Next up, Greg Taro. So in case you didn't see, this was all live streamed. I was following it on my Patreon. I didn't do a live stream on YouTube, but Greg Taro is next, who had a very interesting kind of look. Because, usually in Benidorm Fest, we get like very kind of like pop style. He looked very kind of cool, calm, bit more like jumper at home, which I like because it piques my interest. So here's one of the ones I'm interested to see. His music combines electronic elegance, pop melodies, and modern production with international reach. So really, really curious about what he's doing. Again, not a huge amount of comments and likes for him. Izan Yilmaz. He's a young singer and actor from Ibiza who's grown up surrounded by music. His father represented Spain at Eurovision in 1997. This is not the only Nepo Eurovision child we're getting. But yeah, from him, I'm guessing we're going to get something a little bit kind of pop, maybe a little bit dancing. Next up, we have Kenneth. He is a Spanish singer and songwriter with Venezuelan roots. His versatility has allowed him to navigate between R&B, dancehall, and ballads. This is cool. Getting something non-pop, mixing it up a little bit, getting more variation in style. Again, you'll notice that there's a lot more men than usual. Next up is Kitai. This is one of the most powerful and daring Spanish rock bands and brings to Benidorm Fest the intensity and rebellion of the most authentic rock. So really great. We've got a rock song in Benidorm Fest. I believe Kitai is the Russian word for China. Next up, Ku Minerva. She is an iconic figure of dance music in Spanish. I think this is saying she's bringing to the stage the timeless energy of the most emblematic dance. Don't know what that means in English. I think she's 49 as well, so really cool to have that representation of different generations. Next up, this is the one that got people super grouped, and you'll see if you look at this like count, these numbers are way, way bigger than everybody else. It's Luna Key is returning now. She was in the 2022 edition, but she was disqualified, I believe, or she withdrew because she needed auto-tune for her song and they wouldn't allow it. So now she's back with a non-auto-tune song, and she becomes the second artist to repeat participation in the contest following Blanca Paloma. So one of the things I've always said about Benidorm Fest is there's very few returning artists. Blanca Paloma's only one. Megara tried but failed and went to San Remo instead and got picked for them. This is always something I've wondered. Is this because artists are having a bad time? Or is it because Benidorm Fest are like, we don't want repeat artists? It could potentially be a bit of both. In any case, Luna Key is back, and this is like the most hyped one on Eurovision tweet that I've seen so far. There's one other person who I'll come up with later. Next up, Maria Leon featuring Julia Medina. They'll join their voices and interpretive talent in a proposal that promises excitement and spectacle. I believe that Maria Leon is quite big in Mexico, from what I understand. And again, you can see the numbers here are really big, almost 1,000 likes. Yeah, you can see here there's a Homer with a Mexican flag. So I think that she's going to have a lot of support. Interesting to have a female duo as well. It's not a combination that we see at Eurovision a lot. The ones I can think of are Taya and Selena, Bobby Socks, then Vilde from Sweden, 96. Sisters, which came last, which didn't do great, zero televoting points. So it's not usually a combination we see that often, but I like it. It's something new and different and exciting to get what is quite a big artist from Mexico. Next up is Mayo. This is another one that people are super hyped for. I've seen loads of love for this. You can see again the likes here. Really, really, really big numbers. They've established themselves as one of the most solid revelations in Spanish electronic pop. So I'm super hyped for this one. I'm getting a lot of Adonis vibes because it looks like he's very tall and slim. He's also got the moustache as well, giving us electronic pop. I don't know if this is Adonis in disguise, but yeah, really, really excited for this. He's got a lot of fans on Euro Twitter already. Next, Miquel Herzog Jr. Hopefully he's not related to any presidents. He's a Catalan singer, musician and actor who combines classical training with contemporary passion. His father represented Spain at Eurovision 1998. So we have two sons of alumni. I wonder, is he going to be singing in Catalan? We don't have any information about the songs yet, but that would be interesting. Again, not huge numbers on him. I think he's a little bit less known. Next up is Miranda. This had a big response. Again, a lot of likes, way more retweets. Together they represent the festive, diverse and vibrant spirit of modern pop. I believe they're from Argentina. And apparently they got one of the biggest listener accounts, Dolphin Dane, doing some research. 11.5 million monthly listeners. So I think this is one of the biggest, if not the biggest artist that Benidorm Fest has ever had in terms of having a pre-established listener base. So yeah, we're really interested to see what they're going to be giving. I'm getting a little bit of Nebulosa vibes. I'm not saying the music's going to be there, but in terms of like listening to the high-heeled shoe, so really interested to see what they've got. Next up, Rosalina Galan. She embodies the new voice of contemporary copla and turns every performance into an intense experience. She appeared on the stage in this incredible big red ruffle dress. So I think we're getting, I actually don't know what copla is. It appears to be a form of music that's based off of poetry, 4-line poetry, possibly from the Andalusia region. Spanish people, tell me what's going on down below. What is copla? But I think we're going to be getting something kind of interesting. I love these performances at Benidorm Fest. Next up, we have the Kinkies who bring their own vision. Raiz music. I don't know what that is. Rice music. I think they're saying they're reigniting the culture of the neighborhood from the dance floor. My Spanish isn't perfect. I think that's what they're saying. I don't know what we're going to be getting from them. But again, it looks like we're getting lots of different genres, which is cool. And then finally, we have Tony Grox and Lucy Callis. They form a duo of flamenco, electronica, and contemporary pop. So again, I'm loving how much variety there is here in the musical styles. We're getting very clearly more men this year. Last year, I think it was like a pop diva overload, which it was cool, but also I think that Spain kind of needs to move a little bit away from this pop diva aspect. So just having a few more men involved. They've also made some changes to the format of Benidorm Fest where they're giving a little bit less power to the public. So this minority of the Spanish fandom who can be really, really intense and really abusive. So I think they're trying to shift a little bit more power towards the Spanish general public and the other portion of Spanish Eurovision fans. I think have a little bit better taste in terms of what's actually going to do well. That's my impression. But yes, this is Cesar Vallejo's first time being head. So I'm really interested to see what is his imprint going to be on this festival. How is it going to be different or have different songs being selected? It's going to be really exciting. And in case you're wondering, Cesar said that the songs taking part will be released on December 18th. I will get that video out for you before Christmas. That is my Christmas present to you. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on and you will get that. I'll have it out as soon as I can. There's going to be a lot of copyright. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare. I'll leave in as much of the music as possible, but I will definitely review that before Christmas. And just to get a little bit of an insight into how Spanish fans are feeling with this first message where Claudio is saying, it's the last night of your reign. We will miss you, Melody season. But then we have a reply from a different Spanish fan saying, may your reign end and may you remain in history as an example of what Benidorm Fest was and should never be again. So just kind of showing this divide in the Spanish fandom, where you have some people who absolutely worship these divas, worshipping Melody. She is an absolute idol to them. And then you have these other Spanish fans who are like, we need to move away from this diva worship. We need to be sending more competitive songs. I think JK Bella would have done the best for Spain this year. I will absolutely die on my hill that Saint Pedro would have gotten Spain a top 10 in 2024. I think his jury score would have been huge. Even if his televote had been small. Like Switzerland still came 10th this year with 0 televote points, and I don't think St. Pedro would have gotten 0. So 2023, I agreed with Blanca Paloma. I thought she was wonderful. 22, I agree that Chanel was the right person to go, but she wasn't the choice. She actually got driven off social media by the crazy fans. We need to share the power and the choice of who goes for Spain amongst the whole of Spain, not just one group. So I'm looking forward to this. I hope that Spain can choose a little bit more strategically and get better results now. Next up, let's go to some UMK Rumours, the Finnish national final. Based on social media, Wiley may shoot videos for UMK 2026 now. At the same time, Oliver Rosenholm, the winner of The Voice of Finland 2025, posted today something insanely exciting and cool happened, but what? You'll find out soon enough. So kind of suggesting maybe he's one of the names. And actually, in my last episode, I posted those 7 clues that Wiley gave about the artist, and several people were mentioning to me that they think Oliver could be one of the contestants. It also kind of makes sense. You've won The Voice. Like, what do you do next? Going on UMK is a very natural progression. So this is just a rumor, nothing confirmed, but will be exciting to see. He's got a very interesting look. And another potential artist could be Sarah B. She's a rapper. She has no gigs in the full winter and was heavily featured at YLE. She's one of a few big female rappers in Finland, either an artist representing a current sound or a pioneer in her own genre. So again, that sounds plausible to me. And we've had rap before. Actually, we have rap almost every single year in UMK with a female rapper with Gori Mua. So that would be really, really cool. Again, these are just rumors, but exciting to get a little bit of hype for what could be in UMK coming up early next year. Okay, next up, let's go to an interesting interview from Konstrakta. This is Laka, who represented Bosnia and Herzegovina in 2008 and came 10th. He's interviewing Konstrakta. Eurovision was a long time ago. Even I don't have a sponsor anymore. And Konstrakta says, oh, I'm going to apply again. What's the song going to be this time? We had the idea of, we went in 2022. Then 2024. So we came up with the story of making it biennial, right? So the next one will be 2026, next year. I already have an idea of what I could do, but I'm not sure if I want to go. Well, the situation over there is a little bit, the country's in shambles. So PZE is as well. And he replies, well, at least you have Eurovision. We don't even have that in Bosnia. Although we could see Bosnia back in 27, fingers crossed. She says, the question is what's going to happen. There are some removals on a political basis. For example, Olivera Kovacevic, which was in charge of PZ, was removed with some weird justification. So I don't know. We'll see what happens in September. So this implies to me that this was recorded in kind of August and it's just being released now. So maybe she's changed her opinion. But this would be huge news for Serbia. I think they're in real trouble right now. I think a lot of artists don't want to enter PZ because of what's happening right now. Like she said, it's in shambles. The government's in shambles. I don't think they want to be associated with it. So having someone like Konstrakta come in, oh, there would be a huge, huge, huge save for Serbia. Like, she's super quality. She's going to bring something that's really intelligent, continuing on her storyline of her first 2 songs in 22 and 24. So at the end of the day, you only need one good song in your national final. Norway showed that this year. So this could be an absolute saving grace for Serbia. I was pretty convinced they were going to not qualify this year. But if Konstrakta comes in and saves the day, I'm ready to say that they are going to qualify. I think that she's got a great shot. So let's wait and see when that artist list is announced for Serbia. Is Konstrakta going to be there or not? Okay, next up, some news from Austria's national final, and 80 songs have been submitted to date for Vienna Calling. Now that is quite a low number, although a lot of songs are submitted right at the last minute, so there might be a bit more. You tend to get more entries when a national final is on every single year because you people kind of make it the focus of their year. So let's wait and see what happens. We know who's presenting though. Alice Tumler will present the show with the 12 artists who will be competing for Austria's spot as the host country. We have more rumours from Melody Festival. This epic duel between Expressen and Aftonbladet, the two, I think they're tabloid Swedish magazines, is really heating up. Expressen are winning crazy right now. They're reporting that Melody Festival in 2022 and 2024 podium finishers Medina will return to the competition next year. I think they were 3rd in 22 and 2nd in 24, but they're going to be back. Are they going to be able to get back on the podium but get that first place? Definite contenders to win. They're so popular, bringing a real fun vibe to Melody Festival and with their kind of anthemic football songs. More rumours Melody Festival again from Expressen, and that is that 4-time Melody Festival participant and 2017 winner Robin Bengtsson will also compete. So I don't know, I'm less excited about this. You know, I'm not mad on winners coming back because I feel like they get a kind of free pass to the final, even when their song isn't that great. Actually, his last entry, which I think was 23 or 24, I thought was so mediocre. He still got to the final anyway, so I don't know, this doesn't massively excite me. I'm okay with returnees coming back, it's just that they seem to get special treatment. That's the thing that bothers me more than having a returnee back. Okay, finally Aftonbladet gets something. They've released 4 names likely participating in Melody Festival. Saga Ludvigsson, who I believe was in the last edition, didn't she have like a electronic looking diner staging? Myra Omar, who I'm very excited about in case you saw my Melody Festival reaction videos, totally robbed in her semi-final. She should have gone directly final. Very excited to see her back. I hope that she's going to be working with Arash again because I absolutely love his sound. Hopefully she's got a little bit more confidence now. One of my issues with her in the latest edition was she just was a bit wooden on stage. I think now that this is her second Melody Festival and she's done more concerts, she's performed more, she's just going to have a little bit more flow, a little bit more relaxed. And that's going to bring her performance to the next level because she was too stiff in several parts with Hush Hush. But we're really excited to have her back. Smash Into Pieces, who I think have come third twice. They're going to be back with their rock pop sound. And yeah, usually they've got like a rock song which has like an electronic melody in it. I've liked both of their previous entries, to be honest. And then also Eva Yumatate, who I don't know at all. So maybe this is a newcomer or maybe she's been in before. I don't know, but her YouTube channel has 9,000 followers. So I think she might be a bit up and coming. Okay, let's go to other news. First up, we have the results of the OJE second chance round. The winner of this was Sweden, Clara Hammarström. No surprise here, I did an episode about this on my channel when the songs were announced. Sweden have won 18 times. Just look at the scoreboard, you can see it. 18 times, Norway 4, Italy 4, Spain 3. And I also talked in that video about the distribution, about how solo female artists make up a gigantic amount of who wins. So not a huge surprise to see that the top 5 artists in it are all solo female artists, and it was won by Sweden. This is OJE just being incredibly consistent, quite predictable. But yeah, Sweden won, Clara Hammarström second place, Italy, Georgia, who didn't even make it into the top 5 in Sanremo. Finland, Goldilocks, made of who I think should have won, Albania, Elvana Giata, Christy Spiteri, Heaven Sent. And just to show you how predictable this was, I predicted this exact top 5. Elvana Giata, Clara, Christy Spiteri, then Italy, Georgia, and Goldilocks, I think is going to win. Okay, so I literally predicted the top 5. So I'm not saying I'm amazing or anything. I'm just saying this is how predictable OJE is. A little bit disappointed that the results weren't presented properly this year. Usually Sweden are hosting because they win most years, and they do a wonderful show where there's a scoreboard and they have hosts and there's a little bit of fun, and it's a really fun thing to do in the off season. This year Italy were hosting and I don't know what happened. The video just wasn't made, wasn't published. It's still not up on YouTube. So I don't think the hosting of OJE's second chance should be automatically who won last year, because you're basically giving the contest to someone who either doesn't want it or isn't capable. I think OJE clubs should apply and say, we want to host. So a little bit disappointing about that. But now that Sweden have won, the plus side is we'll get a proper OJ Second Chance contest video next year. Okay, we have some news from Nemo, the winner of the 2024 contest. Their new album, Art House, has just been released. Some of my patrons have downloaded it. They said the best songs are the singles that have already been released. Eurostar, The Code, and Unexplainable, which you already would have heard. They also saying some of the good songs are God's a Raver, Frog Swamp, and Black Hole. And yeah, the consensus from Patreon so far is that it's a pretty good album, but the strongest songs are the ones that were already released as singles. But go check that out if you want to support Nemo in their musical career. Next up, we have some changes in the San Marinese. That is such a hard word to say. Delegation. Denny Montesi will become the new head of delegation. He will be joined by Valentino Moneta and Senate. I believe they're going to be acting as ambassadors. And he's got this big ass styrofoam thing, which I want and need. I think that would look so cool. But yes, change in San Marinese delegation. In France, they've qualified 3 of the last 7 years, which is incredible for such a small country. Let's take a look at the most streamed songs from September. Deslocato, which I just posted my final review of on the channel. Incredible, 16 million plus, over double that of second place, Espresso Macchiato. Televote winner, Israel, still down in 19th, just showing this total and utter discrepancy between people actually appreciating the song and the results, just showing you how flawed the Eurovision televote system can be and how it can be absolutely and utterly abused. People not actually loving that song that much. Next up, let's take a look at the Eurovision calendar on Eurovision World. 214 days left until Eurovision. Not that far away. We're going to be getting songs really, really soon. We just had the artist for Benidorm Fest. We are getting the artist from Albania this month, we've been told. I believe El Haida Dani posted about that on social media. And then we're getting the songs for Festival of Congas in November. We've also got artists and songs coming for Latvia in November as well, fingers crossed. Supernova does tend to be one of the first ones to release music. So who's going to be the first national font to release their songs this year? And then in December, we have Junior Eurovision happening on the 13th. We have the Artists for Vipir on the 15th of December. As I said earlier in the episode, songs for Benidorm Fest on the 18th. We have Montesong happening on the 21st of December, which suggests we're getting the songs maybe the start of December, mid-November at the earliest. And then we have Festival Kungas, which is usually around the 22nd, 23rd of December, but no official date yet. Okay, that's all the Eurovision news for today. Tons of news. What did you think? Leave me your comments in the comment section down below. Thank you to those who've been supporting me on PayPal and Buy Me Coffee. If you want to support the channel, leave a QR code for here and a link in the description. And of course, shout out to my YouTube members and my wonderful patrons for patronizing me from all around the world, keeping the channel going in the off season. Your support is so vital. Go check out my Patreon if you like what I do and you want to keep the channel going. Of course, thank you so much just for being here. I'll see you another Eurovision news update very soon. Goodbye.